it's about time to revisit one of my favourite decks, the Arcane Bombardment deck, which has 3 extra upgrades from the Murders at Karlov Manor. So we're going to break down the deck list, go through the strategy, and have some fun. Welcome back to the channel. We're looking at the Arcane Bombardment deck now, which, if you haven't seen it already, basically means we get to cast loads of spells for free on our turn and on the opponent's turn, because we have loads of instants and sorceries that will trigger the Arcane Bombardment. It's our only win con. It's basically the whole plan. So we have a few upgrades since Murders at Karlov Manor. We now have Lightning Helix to replace Sacred Fire. It was do 2 damage, gain 2 life. We now have do 3 damage, gain 3 life, so keeps us alive a bit longer. We also have Push Pull, which we've added to the deck. So although it has black in the mana cost there, potentially black, we can just do white or we can just do red. So it works in the deck perfectly fine. We have Push to destroy a target tapped creature, which is fine. That puts this into our graveyard, which means whenever we exile it under the Arcane Bombardment, we can potentially do pull and bring 2 creatures from a single graveyard onto the battlefield under our control, give them haste till end of turn, sacrifice them at the beginning of the next end step. Now we could have our own creatures in the deck. We actually don't have any creatures in the deck at all. I was thinking of putting a Carnosaur in here. It could kind of work. We could have 2 Carnosaurs because pull will get 2 from one graveyard. You could do that, but I've gone with not trying that. I don't know. You could try it. I'm not going with it right now. The reason why I'm using push and pull is because your opponents will very often have creature decks. I know that there are control decks. There are some decks that don't run creatures, in which case this would be entirely useless because you can't destroy a creature and we can't bring a creature back. But sometimes you'll have dead cards. But there are quite a few decks at the moment that are discarding Italis and Atraxas and bringing them back using things like Reenact the Crime, using things like Breach the Multiverse, filling their graveyard with lots of things. So we could potentially grab an Atraxa out of the graveyard, a Titan of Industry, an Atali, a Carnosaur, anything the opponents have. So that's why we're trying push-pull in the deck today. And we also have the third upgrade, which is the Elegant Parlor, the Boros new land from Karlov Manor, which surveils when it enters the battlefield. Surveilling is great for this deck because it gives us the option of throwing away extra lands we don't need, or putting maybe a card into the graveyard we're not going to need. So if we have push-pull and the opponent's not playing creatures, we can just throw it in the graveyard and move it on. Basically try to find the thing that we need to find, which helps us get essentially the big score, which leads to Arcane Bombardment, which leads to free spells every turn. So that's basically the deck today. I don't think last time I was using Quintorius, but Quintorius has helped to speed up the deck a lot. We only have 1 copy, but we go through our deck pretty quickly. So even when we have 1 copy of something, we have a good chance of finding it. And Quintorius will do 2 damage to the opponent and allow us to gain 2 life whenever we cast a spell from exile. And whenever we use Arcane Bombardment and cast 3 or 4 spells for free, they are being cast from exile. So every single spell will do 2 damage and gain us 2 life. So it's going to really, really accelerate our damage. One thing not everyone includes, but has been really important in the deck, so I think it's worth highlighting, is Surge of Salvation, because Get Lost has become a very popular removal spell, and it doesn't just get rid of creatures and planeswalkers, it also can target enchantments. So enchantment-based decks like Arcane Bombardment are going to be under a little bit more threat than normal. Even smaller aggro decks can use Get Lost because it's so cheap. Bigger control decks can use it as well. So we need to have Surge of Salvation to give Arcane Bombardment hexproof so that it can't be destroyed. The best thing we can do is get Surge of Salvation into the graveyard, copied under Arcane Bombardment, and then we have basically protection for free every single turn. Make it hexproof every turn. So, yeah, it's all good. Right, we're going to do some games with this. We'll see how much the Lightning Helix, the push-pull, and the new land help us out. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you want to see more. Let's get on to some games. Opponent's going first, but we have decent enough lands, have a couple of spells. We have the Arcane Bombardment. So, what are we facing? Life gain. Okay. Fair enough. Will they have enchantment removal? Probably not. But target opponent. We can make ourselves hexproof. We can't do it. Doesn't matter. Not really. Next turn, they're either getting a Get Lost or a Lightning Helix to the bat. So whichever one they take, we've still got removal. We can use push-pull if we have to. So I guess I'll save the Surge of Salvation for, and it's going to make a bigger difference later on. Reliquary, okay. Ace. Just going to gain them life for now. So it doesn't really matter right now. Just kill the bat anyway. So use some things up, get going. Don't really want them to solve the case because then they can sacrifice it at instant speed to cast things from their graveyard. It'd be a bit of a pain. Seem to be stuck on lands. No 1 or 2 drops in this deck. There you go, there's Amalia. It's got Amalia now. For the triggers. Well, not the triggers, before the explore happens. Gain some extra life. Or play the land they know about. Keep the new useless land secret. It's not useless. Next turn we're playing Arcane Bombardment, so we'll see if they have removal. Extraction Specialist, bringing back the bat. Or Amalia. Amalia would be good. Okay, bringing back the bat. Okay. So it doesn't really matter what they take here. They could take an Arcane Bombardment, but I have 2, so it's not actually going to do anything for them if they take it. I can pretty easily kill the bat anyway. Gain as much life as they want. Not going to make a difference. There's another Arcane Bombardment, in case it wasn't enough. Okay, let's see if they have a Get Lost. Have the 2 cards left in their hand. If they do, I have a 3rd Arcane Bombardment. No, it's another Amalia. Well, they're going to solve the cases now, but the only thing in the graveyard is another Amalia. So, it doesn't really matter. And they've got a Shieldred on top. Perfect. Lovely. So, like a big score now. Get the other Arcane Bombardment away. I mean, you could have 2 on the battlefield and start things even quicker. Should we get lost? Get lost that one. Let's just get rid of Amalia. Though they can play it again from the graveyard, so it's probably not the best thing to pick. But they want to cast Shieldred next turn. No, we have Get Lost under there, actually. I might do. Oh, no, we're starting to destroy the cases, don't we? Not much point in doing the Extraction Specialist. They're just going to keep bringing it back. Well, not keep bringing it back, but they'll have 2 turns. They can play things from the graveyard. Voice. I might as well kill it now. going to have to use the Get Lost to get rid of those cases. Forces them to sacrifice it. Never mind. Oh yeah, they can use that now. That just gets them to 3. So, still not really going to help. Let's get rid of the Surge. I don't think we're going to need that. And we can Get Lost. Guess one of the cases. I could kill the Bat, get the Bombardment back, have 2 Bombardments going. With big score under there, we're going to draw enough cards. It's going to be fine either way. As soon as they cast a Shield Red, it's going to die to a Get Lost. So although they're on 33 life, the life means nothing. Just a matter of time. And shall I just draw some more cards here? No, I'm going to leave that for now. I might draw some more cards with that next turn. Let's Surveil. Anything good going in the graveyard? Land we don't need. It's fine. Just kill the Bat now. Let's kill the Bat. There we go. Because we could Get Lost the other case next. Then it's done. Brilliant going first again, but I think with this, Vivify, the big score, should be enough to help us draw what we need. Let's hope so. We'll see what kind of deck they're playing. Dinosaurs. Fair enough. We kill this so they can't do the Hammer Skull on turn 3. Turn 2. Because without a Get Lost, I do not want them playing a Hammer Skull. Okay. Fair enough. Another Lawkeeper. Please don't play a land. If you took 1 land and 2 Lawkeepers, I will happily kill your Lawkeepers. Okay, not a land. You can always hope. Let's take it out anyway, just in case it didn't have a third one. It really slowed them down. And the play with fire is not going to be much use against other dinosaurs. It's going to be way too big. We need Sunfall, we need Get Lost. Yeah, they're trying to find the land. That's fine. Dinosaurs can be fast. Things not too bad. Right, so next turn. Big score away one of the other big scores, possibly. Make sure we've got the land we need. Brotherhood's End will still deal with this, so that's pretty good. Got that. But we're going to take damage pretty quickly now. Helix would do it. What's the ward? Ward 2. Could do it. Oh, let's do big score. What have we got? So, yeah. Might get around the ward by taking out the yearling if they play another dinosaur. Okay. So they're going to hit for 10, 13. I want to take this one out. I could take that out and then... No. I don't want to have to use Lightning Helix and use my treasure tokens now. I really want to get Arcane Bombardment down, but I can kill this next turn to me with the egg. Okay. Kill that, they can't transform the other eggs, they're going to hit me for 8. Gaining 3 here anyway. They might be stuck with a useless egg. Also need some other removal, otherwise I'm going to die before I can play the bombardment. There's the Hammer Skull. So Sunfall would be nice. Please deck, if I could draw Sunfall, I would be very happy. I would be alive, that'd be something. Please let me draw Sunfall. How likely is this? We're really overstretching. Thanks, deck. It was so awesome. Never mind. Right, well, this doesn't look too bad. Okay, let's see what they're using. Red aggro. Okay. I've had a bunch of going second against aggro decks and losing, which I'm not going to include in the video because it's not very interesting to watch. But I've been going from drawing nothing but land to drawing no land and going second quite a lot. So clearly, the game is worried that my deck is too good and it just wants me to lose a bit just to make me humble. That's what's happening. It's definitely the shuffler. It's not variance. It's not, that these things happen. No, definitely shuffler. Fast. Monstrous Rage on the Swift Spear. Ooh, let's do Lightning Helix. They could still have a Monstrous Rage, in which case Swift Spear survives, but they still gain the 3 life, so it's not terrible. If you play with fire, it's still going to die. So maybe going second against aggro, I'm not going to lose this time. Let's see. We won't draw any more lands from now on, but So we can do play with fire and get lost, remove a couple of things if we need to. Like that. Let's kill the chick. And we'll kill that now. Just because it stops us getting the +1 counter. See, we're not going to draw any more lands now. Because that evil shuffler hates me now. Is that it? In that case, I'm going to gain some life. Didn't have any creatures. There's the land we need. Right, what do we get rid of? Salvation or Sunfall? I'm going to get rid of Sunfall. It's more expensive, sorcery speed. And Surge of Salvation gives me hexproof, so it'll protect me from a lightning strike. Or anything else that does damage to target opponent. Do I want to do it now? No. I'll do it if it's like lethal or getting close. Just scrying away lands. Okay, let's do this now. We should be pretty safe. 9 health. Not going to have enchantment removal, which means next turn we get to start drawing cards. Lightning Bolt, Lightning Helix, Sunfall. So going second against aggro, we'll look at this. 6 damage to another target battle or opponent. So I am saving a Surge of Salvation for that turn. Shame that Brotherhood's End is not going to do this. Can't even. It's kind of annoying. I'm going to be down to 4. Well, in that case, I'm going to play with fire now. Get the scry. I get to get this free spell. Could well be life gain or get lost. Even better. And I don't need the land. I mean, I could for Quintorius. But I think I'd rather have a spell. Cast any of those. Nice to know we have Sunfall there, though. Can't do anything to me now. Right, so on 6, I think being able to cast spells from exile is going to give me the life I need. And destroy the artifacts, not do the damage to the Planeswalker. It's going to give me the Arcane Bombardment, gain some life, and this game is over. Especially with Lightning Helix, look at that. I could do Sunfall, gain some more life and everything as well. But look at that life gain. It's well over. There we go. Finally, mono red aggro on the draw. Not necessarily an ideal starting hand, but because we have the Parlor, I'm going to hope that getting rid of something we don't need is going to be a good idea. Or finding the land that we need. Celestus. Probably won't have time for Celestus. Really like it. Only have one in the deck, so it's kind of painful to get rid of it. The demolition. Ooh. Right, we definitely need Brotherhood's End. Probably going to push the Warden next, I guess. Brotherhood's End, okay. Just, yeah. Get rid of something that's going to outscale Brotherhood's End and hopefully draw a land next turn. Then, even if they have War Leader's Call, should do pretty well. If they get the Knight out, probably the worst thing for us they could do. Invoke the Knight. There's a Recruiter, they're going to do some early damage, okay. Yeah, we need that land pretty urgently. Don't get it, obviously. So, with fire or get lost. Lost gives them more tokens. Play with fire might be better. They attack now, they're going to do 4 damage because I'm going to kill the Recruiter. Let's do the play with fire. Don't really want to give them the extra tokens. Not that it necessarily matters. You can have some kind of protection. That'd be weird. It must be the blood token holding up priority. 1 land. Untapped. Please. Please, please. That'll do it. I could have instead gained like 5 life or something. But if I'm taking at least 5 damage next turn, doesn't really matter. They got rid of Get Lost, which is great. If we ever get to the point of having Quintorius or Arcane Bombardment out, then they've just got rid of a card that would have been really useful for them. He's start gaining some life. Which is good, because that's what we can do now. And we outgrow it. Right, another land I get to do Quintorius. Probably Discover. If we Discover, then they can just kill Quintorius, but that saves me another turn as well. Or put out another creature, get a land and Sunfall. That would be nice too. So it's not looking hopeless. They're running out of cards. They're getting rid of their Get Losts, which is perfect. Just trying to get as much damage as possible, I guess. There's the land. So, or Quintorius, make a creature, maybe. Discover would gain us some life, but we'd lose Quintorius. So maybe, if we have a blocker, Quintorius is on 5. That's easy. Right, definitely a Sunfall. Good attack. They block. Probably wouldn't block. Let's assume they're not going to block. Of course they're not going to block, because they want to hit Quintorius for 5 next turn. Do I want to Discover now? They could have haste. Epicure doesn't do damage to the Planeswalker, but okay. I'm okay with that. And the opponent's going first again, but we're going to give it one last chance of push-pull doing some work, because we've done pretty well with the other cards. Lightning Helix has been good. The Surveil land has helped a bit. But it looks like it might be one of those games where the opponent is going to possibly quit before we get there. If this is Boros. It'd be like Azorius token, artifacts, possibly. But I have the feeling it's going to be Boros. They just had terrible lands to start with. There it is. Good to be right. Demolition, perfect. Nice one. Don't have the knight, please. Don't have the knight. They do have the knight. They have the knight. 4/4. Could draw some extra things. But I'm going to have to do Brotherhood's End anyway to kill the other creatures, otherwise I'm taking 5 more damage next turn. And if they have a Recruiter, it's going to be crazy damage. So definitely Brotherhood's End to clear things out. So as a Recruiter, that's going to be 8 damage. I have to kill one of them, I guess. Could do, let's see, they're going to do another Recruiter, which is going to be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 damage. I could gain this and do Lightning Helix next time. That seems alright. I'm on 16. We're going to do 11 damage, at least. Could do more. Ooh, 12, 13, 14, 15. Wow. Okay. Can you survive on 1 life? Now, for the Sunfall, there's so many things I would die to. Or if I do Helix, I can take out a couple of things. They still hit me for 6 next turn. I'm only gaining 6. In which case, I die to, like, pretty much anything anyway. Or I do Quintorius, Discover, see what happens, gain 2 life. Let's go with the Sunfall. They have hasty creatures. No, they have the Epicure. If not, then Lightning Helix is going to do something here. They just have the Recruiter, right? They've used 2 of them, so... Eric's, okay. 1 life, I see what they're doing. Right, okay, so... let's play the land. Salvation we're not going to need, I don't think. So, we have a 5/5. And I think... I'll have to keep the Lightning Helixes to gain some life if needed. Eric's. Okay. Do they attack? If there's a Recruiter, then I'm in trouble. But it's going to be their 3rd. They don't have the land for it anyway, actually. They can draw some cards. Okay. Maybe what I'll do then is gain the life anyway. Why not? Clear the land. Wait, what do we have? 2, 5. Do that. Make a creature. Have the 5/5. Guess I Sunfall. Clear the land. Now I'm defenseless, but I'm on 7. Feel pretty safe in that. They could have Demolition and Recruiter, but they don't, so that's good. Yeah, this is not the game for push-pull to do the work. Right, 7. Can they get me on this? They could, in theory. I want Quintorius. I kind of do. Let's just go with the blockers for now. Probably enough to make them quit. Probably. once I start gaining life. There's the Epicure. If I had that earlier, I would have been dead. Glad they didn't. Fruta making 2 knights. Means next turn they're putting through lots of damage. Okay. So, what can I do here? I could activate one of these. Guess I will. Okay, so there's a land. So, I could big score. If I big score, still going to take like quite a bit of damage. I can make the creature. I could big score, have enough to another blocker. Torius. I don't want to big score away the Arcane Bombardment though. Let's go with that. And if I make an extra blocker, you only need to have one other creature. No, actually one extra blocker should be fine. Now I've got the other 3/3 as well. No, don't attack, don't attack. What am I doing? No attacks. That's how you lose the game. I'm going to have 4 blockers. Gateway, okay. It just takes out 1 blocker, so fair enough. It doesn't even take out the 5/5. Maybe they should have done it after playing the Recruiter. They could have taken out the 5/5 instead. Spectre, and they can still do Recruiter. Okay. So, am I alive here? I think I'm going to take 6 at the very least. Okay, they're not playing Recruiter. Would have won then. Now they probably won't. Let's go up with a blocker. Just in case. Right, okay. Draw cards. Get one of those. Have Get Lost available for next turn. No, we don't. We're discarding it. Actually, I should have done Discover with Quintorius first. Oh, Brotherhood's End. That's good. That's good. Yes, Quintorius gets hit. I know. Quintorius is still alive. Now I get an extra blocker. This is looking pretty good, actually. Not going to play the Recruiter because it's not going to do anything. Which means they're dead next turn. Draw a card. It's not going to do much for them. Warden, it's fine. Not going to do anything. There's Quintorius and Arcane Bombardment are going to do what we need to do. Yeah. That's all we need. And that's all we have time for in the game. So we're just going to wrap things up with a look at the stats and how well we've done against certain decks. So with the new cards, Lightning Helix, obviously really, really good. Can't complain about that. The Surveil land has been pretty useful quite often when we just have like extra lands we have to get rid of. We do have 25 lands in the deck, which I have because I want to make sure we get to big score, and if we don't, we can at least cast Arcane Bombardment. Getting to 6 is kind of high, but we could probably have fewer lands. I think we could probably get away with 24, and then just have like an extra Get Lost or extra Brotherhood's End, because there's just so much like aggro stuff that we just need to get rid of. So we could possibly do that. We didn't have very much chance in those games to see that much from push-pull. We used push. We didn't get to use pull, but there are so many decks that would be very weak against pull. So many decks are playing big creatures like Carnosaurs, Italis, Atraxas, especially ones that discard them to the graveyard and then, bring them back, cheat them back in. So there's definitely a good use for pull, especially on the longer games, but most of the games we had there were against fast aggro decks with small creatures. So we didn't get to see pull working quite so well that time, but I've used it pretty well in other decks and other games, so I know it's good. We just need to play enough games to get there. As for the stats of the deck, we're still hovering just around 50% win rate at the moment, but it's a very small sample size of somewhere between 20 and 30 games. So with a bigger sample size, we'll probably see that increase a bit because we have currently 100% win rate against the Orzhov life gain decks. We do well against enchantments as well. Get Lost probably helps with that quite a lot. And Boros are about 50-50. Mono red, um, we're currently on 25%. There's only 4 games. We've won 1 game against Mono Red and lost 3. So when you're looking at some of the most common decks at the moment, common aggro decks at the moment, it's actually not doing that badly. Against Mono Red, because we have Lightning Helix, Play with Fire, Union and Third Path, Brotherhood's End, we have so many things that can deal with Mono Red. I'm sure with a bigger sample size, we'll see that even out a bit more. But that's it. Let me know what you think in the comments below about this deck. Do you like Arcane Bombardment? We only have it now because it's New Capenna. We only have it until September this year, 2024. And then it's going to be leaving. So I want to get the most out of this card as I can because it's just been a favorite of mine for the past year or so. Let me know what you think of the card. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. The deck list for this will be in the description. So if you want to copy that, you can go there and get that from my EtherHub profile. And you can also have a look at my Patreon Discord if you want to support the channel a bit more and have a look at the bonus content we have there for helping you get the most value and fun out of the game. And that's all we have time for. So thanks for watching the video. Thanks for watching to the end. I really appreciate it. I will see you in the next one.